Welcome to the Manhattan Project, where we do kinky sex shit.
At the Toronto International Film Festival, we went to, the world premiere of Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. This new movie that's the first time directorial debut from a woman that writes on like True Blood and stuff. I don't know her name, but we'll flash her picture right here. Anyway, it stars the guy that played Gaston,
And Beauty and the Beast, Luke Evans.
It also stars Rachel Evan Woods.
Rebecca Hall.
They all look the same. And the girl
An
that's like
up-and-comer, Bella Heathcote.
Yeah, like Julia Stiles pretty much.
She's in the second 50 Shades Darker.
Oh, you're right.
He knows things.
She looks like Julia Stiles to me. Anyway.
What's the movie about?
It's about a real-life pair of psychologists that were working in... Now I don't even remember. It's been weeks since I saw this movie.
Cambridge, Harvard, and Radcliffe. It's important to the plot.
Anyway, they're a husband and wife. They were doing studies on sexuality amongst other kind of risque and edgy, cutting-edge psychological stuff. And also, it just so happens that the professor, the male in this marriage, was the writer of Wonder Woman, the comic books, and stuff like that.
Take a look at the trailer.
Wonder Woman has a secret identity. Why is that?
You think it's possible to love two people at the same time?
I think you long for an unconventional life.
What we want can never happen. The world won't let it.
The world can't stop us. Professor Marston and the Wonder Women.
I guess we should also mention that it's about them having a sort of three-way marriage of bisexuality that was obviously frowned upon and kept secretive.
And would still be unconventional today, having three people in a completely balanced relationship.
Anyway, what were your expectations for this movie going into it, Evan?
I had very weird expectations going into it because I kept seeing the trailer pop up on YouTube as a recommended trailer, and I just never watched it. And the main image they use is as Bella Heathcote dressed as Wonder Woman, and I don't know, something about it just like not rubbed me the wrong way, but I was like, what is this movie? It's like a professor Wonder Woman, like she's putting on a play or something, so you can tell she's on stage. But then I saw it was at TIFF, and what it was really about. So at the very last minute, I was like, all right, yeah, no, I should see this movie.
Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman is a fun, progressive, interesting take on a story that I had no idea about, and I'm glad it is seeing the light of day thanks to the power of motion cinema, because it's the kind of parts of American history, or world history for that matter. It's not really American history, although some of it takes place in America, a lot of it. It's a good movie. That's my point.
It's interesting. I haven't read too many reviews, but I've seen that some of like the second wave, now that it's actually out and a little bit more wide, not just like a festival audience, have been a little bit harsher, saying that it's somewhat conventional type biopic. And I'm surprised that they're saying that simply because the main focus of the movie is so unconventional. I've really never seen a movie about, like, the whole time about how three adults would be in a relationship, in addition to more conventional, like, haha, fun stuff, you didn't know this about Wonder Woman.
And presenting that relationship, what's so impressive about this movie is as, like, so matter-of-factly.
Yeah. That's
what I found to be really interesting and impressive about this movie, is even if it is shot, edited, and acted all in a fairly conventional sort of biopic way, by the numbers, going through each event in their lives, doing a framework of flashbacks or whatever, that almost is what makes the movie most interesting, is that it's able to take this traditional biopic thing of like, look at these interesting people in history that did progressive stuff, and be like, look, there's no shame here. They're just interesting and cool, and we'll present it as a matter of fact. But it's about people that would still be judged very harshly, like you said, in today's age by, living in what would be considered a sexually deviant lifestyle of polygamous marriage.
The other thing to note is that the movie, while the second half gets a bit more conventional, has a few really good sort of like set-piecey ideas at the beginning. Another fun factoid you learn is that this guy and his wife created the lie detector. They didn't patent it because they believe in like freedom of information, which fits their general liberalness. So someone else patented it. So that's sort of a buried fact. But they're able to test that in the movie. And every time they test it, it creates this good sense of tension and stakes, because that's so often what goes into good conversations in movies. Is like, what are people's real motives? Are they lying to me? What do they want out of this conversation? And that's literally what happens when you sit someone down at the lie detector and start grilling them.
It's also a movie that's got a ton of like gays in it. but it's fairly even-handed with male and female gaze. And it's specifically about that gaze, right? It's about gaze rather. It's about desire. It's not so much just about looking at women and lingerie and stuff like that, but women wanting to be looked at and things like that. And I think it's really important that this comes from the perspective of a woman who is directing the film, and it is based on some source material that I believe was actually written by the Marstons, one of the Marstons, or more of them. I don't know, whatever.
It's based heavily on a book. I know that.
Which I think was written by
and the director,
one of them.
And the director talked about doing, extra research into the film and visiting a museum about him and stuff. But you do bring up a good point, which is that one of the main conflicts in the movie is Rebecca Hall's character coming to terms with the possibility that, like, bondage as, like, a sexual role play situation, not, like, literal slavery, like, is not necessarily anti-feminist, like, depending on, as long as it's consensual and all that other stuff, which is, like, a pretty complex idea to go through in a movie. It's usually just like a 50 Shades of Grey thing where it's like, it's titillating, so let's watch it.
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, it's providing perspective that is almost the antidote to 50 Shades of Grey, right? It's actually willing to have a conversation. While it is a titillating movie, it's got a lot of, like, sexiness to it when you watch it. It's a movie that is very much interested in having a discussion fairly about all of these characters, how they're feeling about these situations, and why it's important that people reacted the way they do, and, like, suppression and stuff like that. It's a very non-judgmental film. The only thing I guess I could really say that's bad about it is perhaps it's not that substantial of a film. It says what it wants to say, it does what it wants to do. It rushes a little bit in the third act of the progression of these people's lives beyond when, like, the one younger woman was in college. After that point where they all started to live together, it kind of blows through that a little quicker. And that might just be because they lived a private life that there's not as much readily available information about. Not to mention it's a little bit clunky and ham-fisted on how it weaves in the whole, like, title of Wonder Woman, because, like, it's about him being challenged for writing the Wonder Woman comic and having her be, like, a masochistic, like, bondage-wearing hero. But it's also kind of not about that because it's just about the relationship. Anyway, these are all minor sort of criticisms that I could make about this film as not coming together to be, like, a perfect package, and that's, I guess, why it's perhaps not going to show up on my best of the year list. But I really can't criticize it much overall, because in general I just thought it was a really entertaining, even-handed, fascinating film that I'm glad I spent 2 hours with, and that's all you could really ask for in a movie about something like this.
Yeah, structurally they try to make there to be these, like, exciting cuts between his trial about his Wonder Woman comics being too risque and then his personal life, like it's like a Social Network type situation. Doesn't quite work, but even in its failure, it just added something else to the movie, which, like John said, made it just really good for 2 hours. Not much I can truly criticize about it, if I can only say that it is not the most ambitiously, artistic film I've seen of the year so far.
Yeah, it's cool, it's different. If the trailer got you interested, or if
you're
a really big fan of Wonder Woman, yeah, it's definitely worth a watch, I would say.
Or just if you didn't realize it was about the polygamy thing, you're like, what the hell, a movie about this? It's, like, normal. I think you'll be very satisfied.
Yeah, if you thought Wonder Woman was written by Stan Lee, then you should probably see this movie. I don't know. Yeah, good film. I think we are on the same page. This is what we do on this channel. We review movies. We have another channel where we disagree with Rotten Tomatoes on purpose. Right. There's, like, a huge Happy Death Day rant that I put up on that channel there because I got really pissed off. So if you want some more liberal social justice warrior bullshit from us, check out that video. Oh, yeah. If not, if you just want to see us review more movies, stay tuned here. Hit that subscribe button if you think you like what you see.
Thanks, guys.